Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello. I hope everybody is doing well on this Monday evening, almost Tuesday. Well, at least in my time, it's almost Tuesday. All right. So, as I was doing my hair, um, my spirit guides inspired me to come on here and talk about spirit possession, ghosts, and hauntings. Um, And so if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. Also, make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram. It's quite a bit of trolling that goes on YouTube. It's quite a bit of a lot of everything going on here. So Instagram is kind of like a backup for me. And I've been wanting to start doing more on Instagram. I actually really like Instagram. I need to follow more people on there. Um, but I'll always be on YouTube. But just in case I decide to go, maybe live, or I do upload content. That the content that I don't upload to YouTube, I'll upload it to Insta. So go follow me on Instagram, okay? All right. So very important topic. Um, I am not. I am a witch, psychic witch, psychic medium witch, healer that does work for people. And what I come across a lot in my practice is spirit possession, and this is something that's really real. So I don't just do love reunions, crown of success work. I don't just do those things. I do a lot of really, really complicated cases. And, not to say that, I mean, obviously, there, I don't know how other people do stuff, but let's talk about ghosts and spirits and why, witches and high priestesses perform exorcisms and um I hate to say, and I don't want to say I practice necromancy because it just kind of comes along with the job. I think that necromancy is not what people think. There's some people that think that necromancy is just all about, death magic, killing people. And that's not even what it's about at its core. Necromancy is about working with spirits. Let's put it like that. And very often, what I have seen is a lot of people being haunted, and even some of them under possession. Since funeral rites have turned into pretty much basically nothing but a way to make money, um, to me, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I think that the way that we look at the dead, uh, it's kind of gullible. We're very gullible about the dead. In spirit, a lot of people think that just because somebody died or is killed, that means that they're gone, and that's not the case in most cases. In fact, a lot of people believe that when we die, there's these angels that come and you just float up to heaven and that person is gone to a better place. And whenever people complain about being haunted, they are often accused of being crazy. You know what I'm saying? But hauntings are very real. Thank you, son. What is this? This can go in the, yeah, this can definitely go in the trash, son. Thank you. Yeah, it's junk mail. Um, so there's a lot of people that are haunted. In fact, uh, uh, when in fact, a lot of the times, and, spirits are always telling me, go with your gut. You don't have to be like everybody else. Um, you know what I'm saying? Because I deal with a lot of hauntings and I deal with a lot, like even when I do my readings for the channel, like there are some times, and I have to call it out. I have to say to y'all, listen, there is a spirit that is stalking you. Hey, Infinite Vibes. I have to be honest. And often in my private readings, and it's not in every reading. It's not in every reading. Like I do all sorts of different types of readings for people. But in the cases where there is a actual spirit stalking a person, people are like almost, well, not almost, they're very ignorant to it. It's something that's hidden behind the veil that they just don't know about and they've never been told about. So, for example, there could be a bad ancestor. It could be a bad ancestral spirit that either came from this lifetime or a previous one that will be on you. One that's very common, which is why a lot of people are freaked out about their love life, is these old ancestral spirits that believe in arranged marriages or either sacrifice and things of that nature. I mean, it can be a plethora of issues of different scenarios, and I will see them and let people know that this is happening. And probably about a little over half of those people that get readings from me where that happens, they always get work done. And lo and behold, the issue is resolved. So, I mean, there's a reason why we have certain herbs and salt, okay, and other things that we use to banish these spirits, and then things that we use to lock these spirits away. And let's keep it all the way a buck. A lot of y'all that have loved ones that have passed, and this has been a mistake. People thinking that just because somebody dies that their spirit changes, and it doesn't. If a person was evil to you or harmful to you or toxic to you while they were alive, they're going to be the same way after death. They're going to be the same exact way after death. It doesn't change. So, for example, a lot of y'all, if y'all had a bad father figure, if y'all had a bad mother, if y'all had a bad sister, if y'all had a bad brother or uncle or a grandparent, when they pass on, it doesn't change. That, people don't die and all of a sudden become these angelic beings. And a lot of people are very gullible to that. And I think it was a big mistake, people ignoring that fact. For example, if somebody stalked you in if somebody stalked you and they died, they can still stalk you. For example, the Bjork stalker, his spirit has not moved on. And like, as an individual, I can banish this spirit from away from me, but it still lingers because, other spirits, especially these high profile cases. And then there's angry spirits. There's spirits that need to, I mean, I hate to sound cliche, but they do need to move into the light, but they won't do it. Possibly because they're holding on to this life, or, I mean, I know I would, but, so I understand where they're coming from, but a lot of them are very toxic and evil. And it just is what it is. And some of these spirits can possess people. You ever have a person that pass away and the next thing you know, you feel like the people around you are possessed by that person, maybe even angry and upset about things that could have transpired between you and that person? Like, for example, if it's somebody that passed on, let's say let's do, just this is just an example, like your uncle that you didn't get along with, and your uncle probably used to say something like, you know just as an example, you're a stupid bobblehead. Let's say that your uncle used to say that to you all the time. And then the next thing you know, after they pass away, somebody close to you is saying the same thing, even though they never spoke to that person, even though they don't know that person. That could be a case where that uncle is haunting you through other people. It happens. And it's not a coincidence. It's not, especially if that person never called you a stupid bobblehead in the first place. And then after you attend their funeral, because everybody goes to a funeral like it's some kind of, you know, uh, party. And then the next thing you know, people that attended the funeral are carrying on their negative energy. And one of the reasons why I don't attend funerals is because I don't ever see salt. Where's the salt? If I were residing over somebody, spirit, I would have some salt. I don't care who it is. It could be a good person. It could be a person that was very benevolent. And I think that it's not a lot of thought being put into that. And spirit is totally being ignored. The spirit, spirits are totally being ignored. and it's being shrugged off as some kind of mental illness. It is. And I think that this is what is hurting a lot of people. The people that keep it real and it's very confidential, you know, and they get help for it from somebody that knows necromancy, and they understand what happens after death, because yes, there is life after death, but it's not necessarily a physical life. It can be a spiritual life. And so, for example, you know, I'll give another example. Is an ex-lover, okay? Or, you know, somebody that you did not, somebody that you were not with, but they still held a torch for you, and that person passes away. And I don't care if you are Christian, Buddhist, you know, that person can stalk you in the afterlife. And I've even heard of scenarios where there was this one scenario of these people that I knew. There was rape and incest that was involved. And after somebody had murdered this man because of the things that he did, and afterwards, the person was telling me that they were experiencing things to where the person that was deceased was trying to pull them into the grave with them. Uh, Now, I want to tell y'all this. This is one of the big important things that you guys have to understand. Your enemies and people that don't like you, people that want to destroy you, okay? They're not stupid as you think that they are, a lot of them. Um, for whatever reason that they have. If they know about certain situations, they can go to a person's grave site and they can get graveyard dirt to catch the essence of that person's spirit and conjure them into your etheric to stalk you. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. People conjuring spirits for the purposes of revenge. Revenge for what? I don't know. Some people are just very vengeful people. I think that they run into a lot of negative karma doing things like that, because I believe in letting the dead rest. Let them rest. Let them work it out. But there are some people that do have that forbidden knowledge to where they can conjure a person's spirit to release and unleash certain situations in your life. For example, if it was a person that was very self-destructive and a person knew they were self-destructive, but they knew how to protect themselves, but then they decided, I'm going to conjure this spirit to, you know, put it on this person. And I mean, you see it every single day manifesting people, you know. And a lot of people that are under spirit possession, they'll say things like, oh, I blacked out. Blacked out because of what? Why did you black out? Why did you have you know, a period of time where you lost time and you didn't realize what you were doing? So you also have to protect yourself, you know, if you are being, and to make sure that you're not being used as a vessel. because it can happen. Um, there's so many different ways of protecting yourself, but I think the number one way of doing it is to know self and to know your own behavior and to be able to check yourself. If you start carrying on odd behaviors, um, and you're thinking weird and you start to have these obsessive thoughts, or you're obsessing over a certain individual, and this can be a person that is either dead or alive, can do that. you know they can either be dead or alive. A person in their living condition, if they're in a state of living, if they're angry at somebody, they will use other people to attack a person. So it's not just about the dead. This is about spirit possession. I think that one of the biggest ways of protecting yourself is being aware, being knowledgeable, not being afraid of knowing. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, I've known about a lot of crazy stuff. I think that last year, with that whole thing that happened at that concert, I ain't even gonna call the name. That blew my mind, the acknowledgement of what happened. But guess what? I still live a happy and full life. It is what it is. I know I'm protected by it, but I know that knowing that is important. It's not gonna, like, a lot of people are like, well, I just want to deny it, and this is where I stay my happiest. But you're actually not. You're fooling yourself. Being in denial is where you're fooling yourself. People's lives have been destroyed. I know that's why a lot of people don't agree with witchcraft, but just like people think that getting rid of a person, killing them, is going to remove their energy, people think that, but that's not true either. So people think that getting rid of witchcraft and the whole knowledge of it, that's going to hurt us worse, being ignorant. That's going to do worse harm. Because, all witches are not bad. There's some witches that, they get possessed by these spirits and they lose control of themselves and they doing all kind of crazy stuff. But, just because that happens doesn't mean that the knowledge and the wisdom is bad within itself. We were always meant to have that knowledge and wisdom. Otherwise, God wouldn't have never let it happen. That takes me back to the Bible with the whole thing with biting the forbidden fruit. It happened. It is what it is. Let's move on from it. Instead of going, oh look, oh let's blame the woman. Let's blame. But why did God let it happen in the first place? Because it was supposed to happen. So if you look at it from that perspective, right? Um, Now I can tell y'all something. It is possible to kill a bad spirit. Yeah, it is. You can kill a bad spirit. I've heard people say that you can't ever get rid of energy. Yeah, you can. Because there's some spirits that just need to go and not exist. So it is a way to do it. Um, and it's been done. There's certain realms that most people don't have access to, or either afraid to think about it, where these spirits go. And then you got some people, who I call them jackasses, They will go and conjure these spirits. They will take certain objects because they'll know about this. And just because you know something, just because you can do something, doesn't mean that you should. This goes back to in tranquil spirits. Every time I bring this up, an in tranquil spirit pops up. So I rebuke that spirit already, but I'm going to bring this up as an example. If you are a spiritualist or a witch, you can still do the work without using a spirit. Because if you use a spirit, you can lose control of that spirit. And so just like y'all saw that I made the graveyard dirt substitute, right? It does the same exact thing. The only difference is that you won't have all the damn headache of dealing with spirits. And so this is one of the reasons why my spirit guides never allow me to go to the cemetery for that purpose. I'm not downing or degrading anybody that does. I'm saying my spirit guides have forbidden me from doing that because the cemeteries are filled with spirits walking around, lingering. And I think that that can be dangerous, not just for you, but for people around you. So I wish people would stop doing that. In fact, this happened about, I want to say about a year ago. There was a spiritualist that was a TikTok spiritualist that was going to some grave site over in New Orleans. I think it was New Orleans. And these were unclaimed bones, stuff would wash up. And so that person would go there and they would gather up bones. And the person was online talking about it. And somebody got upset about it and contacted the police. This person actually got in trouble with the law. And so what Spirit was telling me about that is because you're going and you're digging through graves of unknown people that you don't know. So that was a lesson. A lot of people, whenever they learn a lesson from stuff that they do in spirit, they always go, oh, it's just a damn it always the injustice and they doing this and they doing that. No, spirit works through the justice system a lot. Okay. That's just like people that have injustices. They don't realize that spirit can help with them with that. So there's a lot of people that will have stuff like that happen and they just don't learn the lesson. You probably got a hold of bones of a spirit that could have been persecuted or brought some negative energy into your life. And now that happened. So you have to be careful with doing that. I understand everybody is excited. They want to explore. But when things like that happen, and there's I don't just watch spiritual channels. I don't just watch, because I watch spiritual channels, cooking channels, and family channels. And so there's this, I watch all different types of channels on YouTube. And so there's this one guy that is cursed, right? He's got a curse on him. And he's had all these major towers going on the past week or so. Maybe eventually I'll say something, but I remember on his channel I saw him rebuking, witchcraft and astrology, and then here we are several months later and he's experiencing a curse in his life. He has no idea that he's cursed. He's just on there going, oh, it's corruption at the government level, and That's how curses work. So he had a business where, you know, he was selling items. I'm not going to say what it is. And now he lost his business because of the curse that's on him. I'm not going to say who it is because then, and so a lot of people don't even like and so with what he's going through right now, I guess you could say that, perhaps he has a different path in life or whatever. And, but, who knows what because he's not a client of mine, but because, sometimes out of curses will come blessings, but, it just, I don't know because it's not my business. I haven't thrown the cards on him or anything because, I just don't go around reading people without their permission. I just don't do that. I don't whip out my cards every scenario and like, what's going on with this person? I just, because it ain't my business, but I could still recognize the curse that he's under. And just, just looking at his video, just seeing all these spirits that are after him, it's very perplexing for him, but it's very clear for me. And I just don't like having inconvenience in my life. I feel, when I made it to my 30s, my mid 30s, I just started realizing a lot of things about the world, and I just got tired of being inconvenienced and, constantly being, blind. I got tired of being blind to the truth. And so these pretty lies that we believe in, they're no longer pretty. And who knows? And then when you look at your ancestors, uh, you know, uh, like for example, around this person, I could see a lot of gypsies, a lot of gypsy witchcraft in his bloodline. And it's like he's rejecting it, but it'd be better for him to just embrace it and start doing the work. My whole point that I'm making is that spirits are very real, and they're in I mean, obviously when you look at the world, good spirits are not in control. And then a lot of people will get angry at God, or either they'll say, oh, there's no God. And it's so strange how people would rather stay miserable and in denial, and will even try to create obstacles for people that are not in denial. They're like, well, I'm in denial, I want you to be in denial too. And it makes no sense when it's so simple. There's a spirit on you that's causing problems. Banish it, lock it away, and move on. And good things are going to happen. There doesn't have to be all this damn struggle. There's a lot of people, they're just like, oh, it is just, this is the way that it is. So many people look at witchcraft as the devil, as the evil, but it's like, well, it's you gonna go through it anyway. You going through it anyway. You're dealing with it anyway. It's very strange how people are, then when something happens, if these people live long enough, or if they live long, or if they don't live long, then they become an inconsolable spirit because they stay attached, and it's a cycle that keeps going on over and over again, and it's totally preposterous. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to the people in your life that are still living, but then also pay attention to the dead. What are the dead doing? Some deceased people are good, but there's a lot of them that are bad. And yes, spirits can possess people. People always think, oh, that's just the devil. No, spirits can possess people. I see it all the time. You know, they can jump in bodies, they can walk into bodies. And the same exact emotions and cycles that they went through when they're alive, they're still experiencing it when they die. It's their decision, their choice to do that. I do believe that there are there is an initiative spiritually to not allow that to happen. But I think that people are so confused about that. You know, they're very confused about the people that understand this, that have an understanding about it, and they're confused about it, and they're so lost in their petty differences, which was why, they say Jesus Christ was the savior of the world, but you see what happened to Jesus Christ. I mean, they murdered him. And so it just, anyway, the past couple of years, there have been several spirit possessions and deaths in the mainstream media, to where people think, oh, that person's dead, I'm just going to go on with my life. And and this person is just tormenting people. For example, when I'm gonna give y'all a couple of examples. Eileen Warnos, the lady that they gassed, I think they either gave her, I don't know how they put her to death in the death penalty. And then I think they may have put Jeffrey Dahmer to rest. Who was that other one? Manson recently died. What did they do with his remains? Where is he? He's floating around, probably close to the location where he originated, or where he committed a lot of his crimes, or wherever he grew up. Nobody has actually put that man to rest. And then you even have some jackasses conjuring his spirit. Even when there are people nice enough, these are the shamans, the people that do things that you don't see and they just don't talk about it. Even when they contain the spirit, you got people looking for that spirit. People are fascinated by, rape and pillage and murder, and they're invoking the spirits of these people. Okay. Hey, Linda G. Hi, Jamila. Well, lately, when things go wrong in our relationship or I don't act the way my boyfriend wants me to act, he says to me, hey, you got a demon in you. He is saying this more and more. Oh, honey, you may have to get a private reading. But I will tell you that spirits are moving in and out of people, causing relationship problems. And the person typically that is knowledgeable can see it, but the other person can't That's happening a lot. Yeah, it is. Um, what was I gonna say? There's a lot of spirits on this planet that are inconsolable. They're walking around, and guess what? They want to destroy this planet. They want to destroy the people on this planet. For whatever reason, they went through what they went through and they've given up. And so there's several things that grow. I mean, not just several, hundreds of things that grow and that exist on this planet that does destroy a lot of these spirits, because it's not just the spirits of people that we're dealing with. We're also dealing with bacteria, we're dealing with viruses, and we're also dealing with parasitic energy. Okay, so that's another one. That's another big one that we're dealing with. And a lot of times parasites, that's why they're causing all sorts of, brain disorders in people and things of that nature. People would never believe what it takes. Something so simple, which is salt, and in some cases, sulfur. It's got to be a ritual, whether or not it's a large ritual or a tiny ritual. Okay. And so people don't understand how strong intent is, as well as earth. So, um, it ain't even about necessarily being possessed by demons, though. Demonic possession does happen, but right now, what we're seeing a lot of is spirit possession. And yeah, those people that may have been bad or indifferent or whatever, maybe they do have some kind of, demonic attachment that they never could fight. But you have a choice to do that. You have a choice. You just have to listen to the truth and live life. You know, um, there are some spirits that are oppressing people, taking on the identity of others. And coincidentally, the tarot tells us a lot about that. For example, in a reading, if I get the Two of Wands inverted, and for example, if you're a Pisces, and I see, like the High Priestess inverted, the Two of Wands inverted, and then I see something like the Queen of Swords in the inverted position. Depending on what you've came to ask about or what spirit tells me, that can be interpreted as spirit possession, because that spirit is suppressing your identity and possibly has possessed you. In fact, the high priestess in the inverted position can sometimes represent possession, spirit possession. And I've read the tarot long enough. These things often come up in love readings and money readings, and people will go, oh, I just want money and I just want love. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here, and this person is going to promise me that they can do this and do that. But I like to inform people, listen, you can have that, but you got the spirit on you. What is the spirit doing, Jamila? The spirit is speaking, talking, and even sometimes thinking for you. So even when you get love in your life, you may be subconsciously pushing it away or destroying it to the point where you'll be 50 or 60 years old and you just constantly blaming, everybody else. But really what you need to look at is the spirits that are around you. If you have a spirit that is possessing you and possessing people around you, you're not aware of that spirit, and that spirit can come and jump ship all the damn time. And the next thing you know, you fighting, you arguing, you crying, you sad, you ready to kill somebody. You pay attention to the spirits that are around you. And a lot of times those spirits can be getting controlled by somebody else, but not all the time, probably at least half of the time. Sometimes those spirits are acting alone, and you just, you go through a simple banishing ritual. You do some healing, you get in touch with self, you ground yourself, and next thing you know, boom, you live in a complete life. So everybody ain't gonna get this message. I'm gonna tell y'all something. A majority of the world is doomed. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all, man. A majority of the world is doomed. We are all fighting a spirit apocalypse, pretty much. Most of the world is going to be encumbered by these spirits that are sneaky and smarter than them. They are. In fact, that's, a lot of people, they going on and on about this whole thing with depopulation plan and all that. Where are you at in that? Did you realize that it wasn't just about what you thought it was about? Did you realize that it was actually about a spiritual war with spirits? Were you able to look behind the veil to see exactly what the hell's going on with that? As to why you see certain people that are factually protected, either by their ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angels that they allow to come in, because a lot of y'all pushed y'all guardian angels away, or either your parents did, okay? Um, are you actually aware? And yeah, when you banish a negative spirit, you will kind of feel funny or off. Because that spirit will come to you pretending as if it's helping you, but in reality, it's taking from you. It's causing accelerated aging and decay a lot of the times, because it's connecting your spirit with its body that it's decaying. So And if you are among the living, I mean, you just among the living. So yeah, a lot of the population is doomed because of that. Because, um, and some people are just innocent bystanders of this crap. There's a lot of innocent bystanders that, they are just, they become victims of people that are possessed. And, a lot of y'all are very protected because some of these people will get the spirit of a freaking monstrous person that, killed people. And then you end up killing somebody. And the next thing you know, you're disgraced. Your family is disgraced. Spirit possession is very real. And there's some very old spirits, some old, some new. I'd rather be affected by the spirits that kept me safe and healthy. I don't want to be afflicted by negative spirits that, you know, created that can create trauma and, you know, destruction in your life. I'd rather be affected by the good spirits that I was born with, and yeah, we're all born with some bad spirit attachments. Some of them are connected with us. For example, if you were somebody in a previous life that did some bad things, and you can actually use those spirits in this life to do your bidding, but you better have control over them, right? So it's a lot when it comes to spirits, and I hate to see people that are blindly ignorant to this. When knowing about it doesn't mean that you just have to, like, it's like a lot of people think that being somebody like me is just tragic and you're just always just, oh my God. And no, there's awareness, but there's power in that awareness and in that wisdom. There's power in that. And so I'm able to look at a lot of things objectively. I don't just sit here all the time and, oh, there's a spirit. Oh, there's spirit. Oh, there's spirit. No, because most spirits that try to enter into my house, they already afraid of me. So that's why I don't sit here and go, ooh, I had to do it. I do things for maintenance purposes, but I'm not just sitting there going, oh God, there's a bad spirit that's over there in the corner, and it's going to get me, and I'm scared. That's not how it is. I think it's worse on you if you don't have the knowledge, or if somebody doesn't have the knowledge. And I think a lot of y'all are very, very lucky. I've had clients that have told me, I feel very lucky to have you in my life. And, it doesn't stroke my ego. It just makes me feel better that I'm actually able to, use my gifts for that purpose to actually help people. And those spirits don't get attached to me. I wish the hell they would try to get. uh, no, no, no. So, I mean, for me, I don't mind people looking at me like I'm crazy, but in reality, y'all know I'm telling the truth. So it's a very private thing, and anybody that wants to speak to me about that can. If you feel like a negative spirit is affecting you, you can always talk to me. I'm never going to judge you because I understand. Because a lot of people, when they come to me to get readings, they'll say, okay, Jamila, I know I sound crazy. And I'm like, wait a minute, stop, stop, stop. No, you don't sound crazy. You just sound like you're using your intuition. No, you don't. Now, I do get kind of irritated when people have these ideas, but they don't really, it's like they partially believe in it. And I do get kind of frustrated when people are not responding, to the spiritual treatments that I'm giving them. That frustrates the hell out of me. But that's like very few, if any. And so I don't just do love spells, love reunions. Like the love reunions that I do, I'm gonna tell you, the love reunions that I do, y'all, it be a case, it don't be just, oh, this person. Like in some cases I am dealing with third party scenarios to where somebody casted something or somebody did something. But a lot of the reunions that I do, it's because that person got taken, not their complete soul, but fragments of them. As soon as I bring it back to the body and to the spirit, that person goes back and they're so. I encourage all spiritualists to not do these empty love spells to where you just, I'm going to bring a person's body back to this person. But it's like that person is dead or somebody else. Now we got to take that person's soul back. And yes, you have the right to do that. A lot of people say, well, if God did it, God didn't do that. God gave you the knowledge and the wisdom to fix it. Why would God do that to you? God be looking at people like, well, Lord, and you saw fit, and God be like, you don't know me. And depending on what God you worship, hell, and what you take seriously, some of y'all go to hell just for being ignorant. Y'all be wondering why I was Christian, I praised Jesus every Sunday at the church. Why did I still go to hell? Because God put you there because you ignorant. I mean, we've all been given, a lot of us are given some kind of grace, but it really depends on how your ignorance affected other people. I have to banish the spirit of poverty, spirit of that up, the evil eye. It's much more complicated than just, you know, making an oil, which is very important. It's, and so it's a lot more complicated than that. But it doesn't, if facing a demon or a bad spirit, a lot of them, hell, they do what, to me, in my experience, why I do this so seamlessly. And see, there's a certain diet that spiritualists are supposed to follow too. Because I've seen a lot of spiritualists, they'll be doing this spirit work and they'll just be aging rapidly. Like, what the hell? You ain't supposed to be 30 some years old looking like you 60. So that's why we got to have collagen rich foods. We got to have iron rich foods. We got to have vitamin D rich foods. We got to eat bone broth with some freaking lentils in it or some meat or something. We got to eat that. Like, don't nobody who sits around, ain't nobody going to do that. Y'all remember that song? Is written all over your face. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say a word. It's a lot of stuff that's happening and a lot of things that people don't know. And so there's some people, they'll go their whole life not getting what they, not getting anywhere. Because some things that people want ain't meant for them. It's meant for somebody else. So everybody just can't get what they want or get who they want. Because sometimes the person that you want, that person belongs with that person. And you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people that have this struggle, and as soon as they start getting what they want, they get scared. Like if a spell manifests, it's like, shit, did that really happen? Don't get scared of your, but some people are scared of their blessings. You got to be ready to receive that. But a lot of people be like, I want this, I want that. But see, you're just wanting it. You're just wanting it. Because are you ready to receive it? I know I'm ready to receive everything. That's why I align myself the way that I do. I'm ready to receive everything. You know what I'm saying? It feels like especially when you about to receive it, when you feel that energy shift, and you just got to go ahead and just go, you know what? I did that. You know what I'm saying? Let me have me a glass of wine because goddamn, this is overwhelming. Because when and so a lot of people be like, this is too good to be true. This is a lie. This is the devil. And it's weird. Like y'all just don't know. So that's why a lot of people would rather struggle to get that. Depends on, I guess, your karma. That's why I don't, not in 2022. I don't align myself with people that are doing that. Now, of course, our children, they're younger than us. They need our guidance. So your children ain't the problem. You can't sit there and go, oh, I'm going to banish my children because they creating an obstacle. No, you got to just fix that. But like, these grown people running around here and they just struggling. You can't be aligned with me because energetically, you gonna slow me down. Hold on, y'all. That's just like if you got a person that go, oh Lord, Lord, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have none at all. You gotta stop saying stuff like that. Rebuke that. A lot of people will just live like that and they just be, and they can't change. The change starts with you. A lot of people are always looking at the external. They're always looking at the external outside of themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, well, you got to be. So for example, if you're trying to manifest something, you can't get up every day and speak bad things on yourself. It's because some of y'all be cursing yourself. And it's being passed off as a joke, like, oh, I'm just being jokester. Well, that's why you end up with the joker. That's why you end up with all that bad luck. And that's a spirit on you that, and then sometimes every now and then y'all will come out and y'all be like, I feel like I can do this. I can do that. I can do anything, Jamila. And then the next thing you know, oh, I don't think that this is it. I'm like, what? I'm like, you still, you let that spirit back in. You let that spirit creep back in. Why you doing that? Oh, ain't no spirit. You crazy, Jamila. Okay, well, guess what? I'm gonna throw some saltwater, Florida water at you, And next thing you know, you're feeling better, but then you let the spirit get back into you, that bad spirit. Or you don't know how to protect yourself. That pentagram, y'all don't realize, I swear to God, is how powerful that pentagram is. And everybody's scared of it. I done looked at plenty of videos. Y'all be on here. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, look at this. Is symbolism, symbolism. They got that symbolism. A lot of that symbolism is very powerful. Where the heck did my little altar cloth go? It went somewhere, right, and went down in the couch. So y'all, a lot of people, boy, it just I guess it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, back to the spirit possession, ghost possession. You got to control yourself, meaning that you got to control your spirits. Okay. And it could be bad spirits around you. They affecting you. Like a lot of people don't realize that, especially when you're making poor decisions, when you are making poor, and I'm talking about poor decisions that are taking you off of your path. I'm not talking about because you know what, a lot of people, and I didn't agree with this out the gates. A lot of people, when it comes to your mates, your sexual partners, sometimes it is a poor decision. But if this is the path that you're supposed to take, then you got to understand that it's a journey. So, for example, like y'all love lives is complicated. You got to have it broken down to you. You got to get the breakdown. You do. You got to get the complete breakdown of this, and that. Okay. I told somebody yesterday, they said, "Where are you from?" I said, I said, it ain't about where I'm from. It ain't about where I came from. It's about where I'm going. And the way that I do my readings, I mean, if you have been called to come to me to get a reading, you got some pretty complicated stuff going on. Okay. You got some pretty complicated stuff going on. We just don't have time for the BS, okay? That's just like it, when you're looking at a relationship and that person is playing games with you. Well, why are they playing games? Oh, this person is playing games with you. Well, why? Why are they playing games? Why did this person, that person, and the other person, why did they play games? Why did that happen? And so it's layers to it. And so people are so quick to dismiss, but spirit gonna keep pulling you back. Spirit is gonna keep pulling you back until you figure that out. That's what spirit gonna do. Okay. Now I will tell you that after a certain amount of years, after a certain amount of years, some stuff you just need to walk away from. Like if you've been sitting there doing love spells on a person for 8, 10 years, that after the 6th year, if it ain't worked, it ain't gonna work. Okay, unless it's unless it's supposed to happen naturally in more time than that. Okay, so but um you know, it just depends, you know, it depends on what your destiny is, you know what I'm saying? So I think I'm gonna go, guys. I hope that y'all enjoyed this discussion. Um, I think that I am gonna do some love readings for August to tell you guys, like they'll just be general for the channel. Take it with a grain of salt. Seriously, like who you're destined to be with. Um, seriously, as far as like a life mate, take it with a grain of salt because you know these are just. And then here's another thing I want to talk about with the readings. People will come and listen to my readings and they automatically think I'm talking about them. No, I could be talking about somebody that is watching that needs to get that message. Stop thinking that it's always all about you. You know, we're all different people. Yes, we do exist and on a different spectrum of, you know, apart from each other. You know, they say that that's another demon. People that thinking that they are everybody. You know, I've seen people like that. It's a trip. You're not everybody. So I could be, you know, for example, if you and your boo are slated to, you know, get married or move in together or something, and then I come and I do a reading and I tell you that it's going to be a breakup or something. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Unless it happens, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, you know, I even go and listen to some readings just because, you know, when I get off of here. But I know how to separate myself from that scenario. Like if it's a scenario that don't resonate with me, it's just like, okay. And it don't even bother me. I'll just go to another read. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a reading that person did last month, or maybe another. You know, every message ain't for everybody. So that's why my spirits was telling me to stop doing the readings. They were telling me that it was like just stop doing them because too many people, you know, they got that evil eye. People be throwing that evil eye. They get mad. Jamila told me my man was gonna leave me. I think she trying to curse me, and then ain't nobody talking to you. So you know, I don't know. It's for whoever it resonates with. You don't take it for entertainment purposes, but you know, for you know, for whoever is just like I know that you're talking about me, and I want to get some assistance or more guidance on this. Okay, seriously, because some people they be flipping out about my reads to the point where they want to stop the readings. You know what I'm saying? They want to stop them. So I think I'm just gonna start doing general, maybe not even doing the zodiac signs individually no more because people get triggered by my readings. It's probably because you know how accurate I am, how accurate I've been in the past, the present, and how accurate I'm gonna be in the future. But that doesn't mean that I'm like when I'm reading, I'm just reading. So I think from here on out, I'm just gonna throw out the cards, and if I see an emperor, I'm gonna say, okay, I got an Aries out there. This is the message for you. I think that's how I'm gonna start doing it, so I can go back to doing daily reads and just, you know, not splitting it up individually. Just, you know, maybe calling out and saying, you know, this is for the Aries. Okay, if the lovers comes up, this is for the Geminis, or if you know, or it could be another air sign. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna read like that because people be getting triggered and be getting mad and stuff. And you know, that's just like when I made that graveyard dirt. I had about 4 or 5 people that don't like me trying to throw death magic at me. I'm like, uh, right. You know, and so I don't want to get into where I came from, but you know, we kind of all come from death. So, you know, it's you know, especially with my mother. My mother was a dark mother. I'm not going to get into it, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, really, like, what the fuck? You know, and it's not, you know, so a lot of people got creeped out or scared. I don't know, but they, you know, they claim I ain't got no power, but they sure was throwing shit at me. She gonna try to kill us with that. She gonna try to kill us with that graveyard dirt. No, no. I may be trying to, I think we all are trying to end negative cycles with certain people that do need to move on with their life. Is that arguable? I don't think so. I think that that's a fact. That is a fact. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I will catch y'all later. I'm sitting here doing my hair and it's going to take me hours. So I'm just going to get comfortable and put on some Netflix or some HBO Max and relax. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram though. And if you're struggling and your intuition is telling you something, don't ever be afraid to tell Jamila, because Jamila keeps it all the way confidential. Jamila ain't gonna think you crazy. Jamila don't get off the phone with you saying this person is crazy. I don't ever do that. You don't ever have to worry about that, because your intuition is not crazy. A lot of people come to me and they're like, oh my God, this is confirmation, Jamila. Like, I feel so much better. I mean, that's and so I guess if you crazy, then we crazy together. Let's just, but we're not crazy. Um, honestly. And so I guess some of the craziest people are the most calmest and the most healthiest, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you're not crazy for, feeling the way that you feel. You know what I'm saying? Now, I have came across a couple of people that have the consciousness because if you believe, it's all about belief. Okay. Let's put it like that. It's all about what your belief system is. I go by a totally different system, and I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not, because there's people out there that are in certain industries and they think I'm crazy for having this whole conversation with y'all. That's okay too. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't, honestly. Because my perception of what reality is may be different from yours. However, perception ain't everything. Sometimes your perception can be a lie. I'm pretty 1000% confident in what I'm saying is being true, especially being that we can date it back longer than what your beliefs are. Okay. These belief systems that I have been around since the dawn of time. So obviously it is what it is. Um, it's not just about telling a scary ghost story. It's not just, it is about what is very real. And then some of y'all need to believe just so your ancestors can come through and help you. Some of them are very helpful, but some of them are not. Depends on what the situation is. Okay. All right, y'all. I will catch y'all later. All right. Blessings.